Ahmed Aziz's Epic Year by Nina Hamza. Chapter 1. 3 years ago, we moved for the first time in my life. In fact, apart from 2 nights at a neighbor's house when half the town was looking for my dad, I had spent every night of my 12 years in the same house, sleeping in the same room, in the same bed. 3 years ago, I learned that sometimes you have choices without having a choice. Like getting to eat out as long as it's an Indian restaurant, or buying a new video game as long as it's parent approved, or choosing something new to wear for Eid, as long as it's fancy. 3 years ago, we had to leave Hawaii. We had no choice. We could have moved to California or Japan or Minnesota. We had choices. My parents chose Minnesota. Story of my life. I was mad at Mom for making us move our lives while Dad was still sick. Seething. No conversations, no discussions. I pulled a guava off the tree before getting in the car. The tree Dad had planted the day I was born, with a line scratched and a date carved on the trunk marking my height on every birthday. I slouched down, arms crossed, and baseball hat pulled low. I waited for Mom to notice how angry I was. I watched her out of the corner of my eye, tapping on the steering wheel, bobbing her head from side to side, and singing all the wrong words to a Prince song. "Give me a red Corvette, baby! You're too much, too bad!" The guava was still hard and still sour. Sarah joined in from the back, clapping and snapping out of tune and out of sync. I was surrounded by weirdos. "Come on, Ahmed!" Mom yelled over the music, either oblivious or unaffected by my anger. I looked out the window instead. I hated visiting hours. Don't get me wrong, I love my dad. I especially love my memories of Dad before he got sick. What I didn't love was the unpredictability. If his hair was unbrushed and the blinds were closed, it was going to be a rough visit. Sometimes he barely recognized me. If he showered and sunshine flooded the room, he would be ready to come home. Sarah climbed between the front seats to get out of the car, stepping on my fingers, adding insult to injury. Maybe a move to Minnesota would mean a car with back doors that actually opened. I made my guesses as we waited for the elevator. The family with the balloons was obviously a 6'4" family. They were laughing, and the little girl wore a pink "I'm a big sister now" t-shirt. They were going to the labor and delivery floor. The man with the gray beard and bald head who didn't look up when the girl started to sing must have been an 8th floor family. That was the cancer floor. The 7th floor was ours, squeezed between the joy of new babies and the sadness of cancer. The 7th floor was where my father spent too many months of the past year. Cirrhosis, the doctor called it, his lisp stinging in my ears, like static on the radio. A year ago, Dad's doctor drew pictures on the whiteboard explaining how a backed-up liver let toxins build up until Dad became confused and goofy. He called it a blocked drain, like bad plumbing. Bad plumbing makes your toilets overflow. It doesn't make your father forget who you are. I asked the doctor why Dad's liver was cirrhotic. Was it something we brought home from school, like lice or strep throat? The doctor smiled so wide his eyes turned into tiny slits. No, he assured us, that's not how cirrhosis works. Dad had a rare genotype of hepatitis C, the doctor explained, but I don't understand what he meant. Sometimes you can have all the right words but not know how to use them. What they meant to say was that Dad had an infection, a type of hepatitis C, a type he inherited from his mom, a type that was very hard to cure. The only solution, they all agreed, was a liver transplant, but rare genotype apparently also meant they couldn't give him one. The 7th floor was also the transplant floor, but my father was an imposter because he needed a transplant but couldn't get one. So even when the whiteboard cheerfully spelled "Happy Birthday, Bilal" in multicolored balloons, I hated it. I pushed the door open with my back, my hands gripping the still warm plate of pakodas. The room was bright and Dad was smiling. It was going to be a good visit. "What's going on, guys?" he asked. "I'm looking forward to some company today. Missed all of you." The whites of his eyes was lighter yellow than 2 days ago. Sarah started, not taking a moment to breathe. She filled him in on her latest dance recital and the book she was writing and how she was going to learn how to knit scarves and sell them at the fair and how she was going to donate all the money she would make to research for liver disease. She had 100 plans brewing. Most of them were created on the spot and none of them would leave the room with her. Dad focused on scratching his arm, not meeting my eyes. "What about you, Ahmed? Do you hate me?" "Hate him?" For what?" I asked. "Well, I'm sure you're not thrilled about moving to Minnesota, but the doctors say that's the place to be. There's an experimental treatment for my hepatitis and an experienced surgeon that may be the perfect combination for me." "What?" I was confused. "They think I have a decent chance of getting ready for a liver transplant." "And we're moving to Minnesota because you want to?" I asked. I looked at Mom, but she was helping Sarah get gum out of her hair. Her back turned to me. "Want is a strong word, Ahmed. The treatment is only available in a few places: Japan, California, and Minnesota. And you chose Minnesota? Dad working on undoing a knot on the tie of his gown, still not meeting my eyes. Sometimes in the hospital, it was like he was the child and I was the grown-up. Don't scratch your arm, I wanted to tell him. Don't play with the knot. Yeah, I didn't think I'd be ready either. I loved Minnesota when I was a child. He pulled at the knot, making it tighter, not looser. I didn't think I'd ever want to move back because your brother died, I finished his sentence for him. Yes, it's been a long time, but maybe this is the push I need to go back. And that was our only conversation about the move, but it was the only one we needed.